How you guys doing? I'm just gonna give a couple of seconds, and then I just want to update you all on stuff. All right, so I figured this is the best way for me to probably record a longer, video, and then just drop it on one of my posts, and so you guys can have it. Anyway, just a quick update on a couple of things. A friend of mine that I mentioned a while ago, I don't even know when at this point, like 3 days ago or something, she went from Kiev to Lviv, which is in the west, where everybody's going towards Polish border. So again, it took her 17 hours back then to make it to that city. From Lviv to Poland is nothing. Look at a map; it's very little distance. She still has not made it to the Polish border. She's been on a bus for the last 2 days and slowly crawling on close to it. Crazy stories, but also gorgeous stories, beautiful stories. She said the entire route from Lviv to Polish border, in every direction, there are volunteers constantly feeding and giving food and drinks and hot drinks and all of that. Yes, during the night it's cold. Yeah, so during the night it's all right. I think we're back. Right, so she's saying that it's cold during the night. A friend of mine, because on the bus they turn off the engine to save gas, and there's no heat. Anyway, so that's one update. Another update is the other friend of mine took the kids out, came back, and she and her husband are joining, the ground defense, the terror defense force that's been organized here, and this is all basically just volunteers and locals that's taking up arms. So that's her update. Just a lot of fighting everywhere. Streets are crazy. At one point I got arrested, like foot outside of here, but again, all good, promise. But that was probably the least traumatizing moment in this whole thing as far as Ukraine is concerned. But for me, it was just a reality check, no matter what it is and how it is. It was a crazy reality check. Anyway, there's a lot to unpack, and like I said, I'm not in a mental state right now to do so. I'm just trying to stay focused. And the last update is that I'm going to try to make my way out. I'm going to try to start getting towards the border. I have options. My options are better than most people's, unfortunately. But I'm just a little nervous, to be honest with you. But, I think it's going to be all right. Well, I know it's going to be okay. So I'm going to just keep you posted through this process as I can. I just want a favor from everybody. Just don't panic if I kind of disappear for a minute, because I know a lot of people watching now from here that I'm just not contacting my friends, my distant family. I'm not answering a lot of texts and a lot of calls and a lot of, mostly I just speak to Peter and my parents and my brother. So, for everybody else, if you're following this to see how I'm doing, if I disappear for a little bit, just please don't worry, and I'm going to do my best in, making sure that I'm going to keep you updated. That's it, guys. And finally, I do want to say it, and I want to bring it up. There's reports about unfair treatment at the border. I am not, again, news. I'm not fact checker. I have no idea. But, I know there's no smoke, there's fire. And if there's any bit of smoke, it is inhumane and it is wrong. People are running from a conflict, from the war. Treat everybody the same. I love you all, and we'll keep you posted. Hey, everybody. I'll just wait a couple of seconds. Guys, I'm good. I'm good. Hey, Ferdi, what's up, brother? I am good. I'm good. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. I'm good. I'm great. Херсон, кажу, в California. Херсон is under a lot of is in trouble. Kherson is anyway. Yeah. So I'm in the hotel. It's actually just turned 9 p.m. Local time. I'm in a hotel in Warsaw. I have the best, the most amazing friends, and I have to have a huge shout out to Michael and Yulia Malitovsky and Peter. And I'm so sorry I forgot your last name, but Peter is the man. I'll post a picture. Peter and Victoria, his girlfriend, came to pick me up. Michael and Yulia organized a lot, not just for me, but for a lot of people. And I have videos from the people for Polish people. I'm overwhelmed with gratitude for everybody who supported for what I saw, for the support that I saw along the way. Number one, this is 9 p.m. So this is officially my 36th hour of being awake. That's not an exaggeration. I woke up at 9 a.m. I don't even know, 2 days ago, yesterday or whatever. I boarded the train to Warsaw last second at whatever, and then it took off. We started driving at 7:30, 7:21, 7:30, something like that. And I got to the Warsaw train station, central train station, at exactly 6:30. So it was about a 23-hour trip from Kiev to Warsaw, and it's right now 36 hours since I've been awake. I have a lot of details about this trip. I'm not going to talk about this right now, but I want to say a couple of things. I have a lot to unpack. It's going to take a very long time, and the number one priority right now is the fact that the war is just heating up. I keep seeing reports, and they're going to get worse. I'm telling you, some of the images, and I'm gonna say, forgive me for posting it, but at the same time, I don't. I want to. It has to come out. We've become so sterile with the way we accept news. Oh, that's too graphic. Oh, I can't believe they showed that on TV. Well, I can't believe you see that on the street. I can't believe that people walking by today, couple hours ago, got hit by a rocket and it's incinerated the entire family, a mom, dad, and 2 kids. And I have that video, and I have that image, and I have that in my head as something that also happened, right? And it is so close, and it is so real, and it is so traumatic, and it's so crazy. It's not right. I want to say a lot, but I promise this isn't the time. For me, it's not a good time. I won't be able to express myself. I'm already tearing up and choking, and it's not right. I just wanna say what I want to say. So the unpackings come later. Please, as you can see, what has started as a usual for Putin campaign to take over the government, put his puppet whatever in place, and and to extend his regime, has turned into a David and Goliath of just massive proportions. It's the reality. It's David and Goliath in reality. And the little guy, I've always had this analogy in my head. I feel like I'm in high school again in Brooklyn, and I feel like I'm in a hallway, and I feel like I'm watching a little kid get beat up by a big kid. And all of the little kids, and this kid happened to be like extra big, and all of us are passing by. We think it's wrong, but we can't just jump in. And and that's the reality of life. And that's how it happens, because we're also terrified of the big kid. We don't want to get punched in the face and as an innocent bystander, or, hey, stop that, and then, also get beat up. So what happens is that we stay and watch, okay? And we stand and we watch, and we stand and we watch, and you know what we see? We see the little kid get bloody nose, a black eye, get punched and punched and punched repeatedly, and then something happens, and the little kid does something, and maybe the big kid falls down, or we see that there's a change. And that's that human reaction when everybody joins in. And I don't care if it's wrong, I don't care if it's not the way it should be, but whenever you feel ready to join in, you have to join in. This is a communal situation. We live in a place today, a planet to me looks like a communal living space in old USSR, where you had families bunk and live together and share a kitchen. When you're not strangers then. You people that share the same air, the same space. Russia and Ukraine, they have to wear, if you noticed watching all the reports, Russians have a white band around their arm. Ukrainians have like a yellow band. There are different other bands within both sides that signify other things. Do you know why they have to have bands? Because they look the same. Because it's the same person. It's a cousin, a brother. It's not even it's a brother. It's two brothers fighting. Moscow and Russia as it is. And this is the history lesson that whatever his name is omitted, because he started just like 100-some years ago. But the reality is that Russia came out of Kiev Rus. It was originally a Kiev. Kiev was the place. It was the capital. And then the group of people relocated and they found Moscow. And the reason why they found Moscow is because they kept getting attacked by outside invaders. Genghis Khan, Ottoman Empire, whatever. Alexander the Great, it's not a history lesson. But the reality is that was a strategic move to move Moscow inward, north inland, and to leave Ukraine as a buffer for attackers. So whenever somebody's attacking Russia, they got to go through Ukraine. By the time they get to Russia, Russian forces will be ready. And that's the mindset of this nut job maniac that is running the show. He's insane because he's trying to build this empire based on old traditions. We don't live in that world anymore. We don't buy a house and build a fucking moat around it with a drawbridge. This isn't medieval times. You don't buffer your country from an invasion. It's 2022. If somebody wants to do something global, they can use a satellite dish. What's the point of buffering? You got rockets that fly insane territories. You have weapons that do stupid stuff. And you could see it today from these images. That if somebody really wanted to do anything, it doesn't matter how far they would live. The point is, he doesn't think human. He thinks in a completely different way. And we live human. You and I, the people that are dying, right, particularly this second, maybe not just in Ukraine, maybe in all the other places that have conflict, but specifically Ukraine is what I'm talking about. Right this second is getting exterminated by a stupid guy who's trying to throw everything at it. It's gonna stand. I don't just believe that. I'm telling you, Ukraine is gonna stand. Ukraine has the biggest support in the history of this planet. And this is a gorgeous thing to see, because what happened is that we've just lived through so much downtime. We lived through so much uncertainty. And I don't mean just the pandemic and these 2 years and this previous, state of the world and the planet and the division. We were divided. We're still divided. We're still all divided. There's still nonsense amongst us. But look how united we got over Ukraine. Look how united the world is. It's the most beautiful thing that I've seen ever. And it took a war for us to get together on this level. It took a war for countries to finally sort of bond together and prove to their constituents that they can actually unite. Look, again, not a politician, not a reporter, and I'm not a military consultant. I'm just you. I'm you. I'm scared. I'm confused. I'm terrified. And I've just lived through some shit that I'm going to need a lot of therapy for. But I know this. It's us, little guys, against the big guy. I don't care how big he is. I don't care how mean he is. When we're together, I can see what can happen. You can have a little guy finally win, okay? And it'll be a joint effort. And after that, we can all figure out how to make sure that there's never again a one fucking person, a one man who can do whatever whatever he's doing. Whatever he's done, first of all, to my friends Russians, that's another thing. Like, he's sending Russia to Stone Age. This is back, the economy's in the 90s. I've been in the 90s in USSR. The economy's in the 90s. The lines are just like the ones I remember. You wait a week, 2 weeks. If this continues, God forbid, they're going to be giving out bread by coupons because their money is paper. It's worthless. This is not what the Russians want. This is not what anybody would want. This is not what anybody would want. All my Russian friends know there's no competitions that's going to accept a Russian couple today. FIFA kicked out Russia out of FIFA. NHL kicked out Russia from anything that has to do with NHL. Who are you going to compete with? Who are you going to play against? You're going to live by yourself in your little broken and bankrupt nation, and you're going to be digging yourself out from the back of the line. And this is the country that was top 3 in the world, top whatever. This is a crazy rat race that one man orchestrated. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with this. I thought about this clearly I had a lot of time to think. I did not sleep, not because I didn't want to, or because it was because I just couldn't find a way to. I couldn't find a place to lay down. There was zero place. I had fucking claustrophobia at one point. It is insane. So I made a choice that I'm strong enough to just stand and kind of move, sort of stretch. I was constantly stretching just to make sure that I don't get stiff. And I stood because I felt wrong leaving. I felt wrong being on that train. I still feel guilty being on that train. I took up space probably, and that's when I realized it was like out of the movie. It was a movie. And when the train car got packed and packed, and it kept getting more and more packed, and I'm like, hold on, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, there's no air. There's no way that we can travel. And I'm imagining that we're about to go for like 20 some hours. There's no way we can do it this way. And so I took my backpack, because that's all I have. I left all my clothes, and I went in the back of the car, and I stood there, and I was like, I just want to make sure that I don't take up space. I want to make sure that I'm not there instead of another mother with 2 kids. So I'm a big guy, and maybe, it was insanity. It was insane. Anyway, so as I was standing there freezing and sort of trying to shift and move and whatever for like first 12 hours, I gave it a lot of thought. I felt up and down. And by the way, we can't get out, not just because it's moving, but also like at the stops, we can't get out. Because once you come in and you committed to Warsaw, you're going to Warsaw. So anyway, but I thought about it. My guilt. Why am I feeling the way, and what can I do about it? And I started to think about this, and I came up with this analogy. In 94, I was put up for adoption, and I got adopted by a beautiful, young, vibrant, exciting, forward-thinking country. And I fell in love. And I left Ukraine in 94, a sad person, because I felt like I was getting unrooted. I no longer had my where I'm from, and I was in this new country. But I turned around and I said, you know what? This is what I'm gonna do. And the 14-year-old Max, with his family and all the love and support that he had, did stuff, and here we are. And what happened last year, and since the beginning of my filming Dancing with the Stars Ukraine, through 3 months of that project until the end of this, beginning of December, then I had a break, and I assessed, and I realized that I fell in love, and I found, like that boy that got adopted and went to find his birth parents or something. I reconnected with my mom, with my country, with my birthplace. I will never fall out of love with the United States. Never. This is definitely a place that I will carry as a banner of an example of how people coming from completely different places can coexist. We hate each other, we fight all the time, we're divided, we're all these things. But something tells me that if shit hits the fan, we're gonna defend this fucking place like Ukrainians defend Ukraine. That's what I believe. I believe that wholeheartedly. And I believe that to be true because I see Ukraine to be that kind of place. I'm realizing that Ukraine, given time, resources, international involvement, and of this fucking Russian nonsense, it will allow Ukraine to become the country that I think it can be, and it will be that beautiful beacon of forward thinking and forward sort of living, and the way you should really love your place. And it's an example of a nation that gets united. That's what it is right now. Anyway, so that's how I feel. I feel like I found my birthplace. I've reconnected with it, and I'm having a very fucking hard time leaving right now. I'm having a horrible time. I'm having very mixed emotions. I have my friends there, my friends in frontline, but it's not just getting close. It got close. I can't hear from some of the people. I can't get in touch with them. I don't know if they're dead. I don't know if they're dead. And that's a thought that I can't understand. I don't get it. Hold on a second. I know that guy. That's the guy, that's the brother of my boxing coach, who I met and became super close with. That's his brother. They look the same. They have the same beautiful mannerisms as people. And then he posts that his brother is dead. And I don't know what to do with that. I don't know what to do with that. How am I getting on a plane and I'm getting out? So I'm gonna deal with that. Like I said before, I'm a big boy. This is not something that others haven't gone through successfully, and not something that people don't go through. And by the way, this is nothing. It's nothing compared to the trauma of these women, these children, these men who are gonna have fucking PTSD after this, because these weapons are insane, because these bombs are insane, and because people just get blown apart to pieces. And you know what? You're lucky if you get dead right away, because otherwise it's traumatic. Your legs are torn off, your arms aren't there, and you die anyway. But with the realization that you're dying and that you got severely wounded, that's crazy for me to even understand. So I just want to leave it here. I'm safe. I'm not happy. No one is. And this isn't over. And I'm going to just need to figure out how to stay productive, what I can continue doing. And I think that screaming out and sort of just rallying the troops. And you know what? Anyway, I don't want to talk about this. I saw a lot of stuff. I saw a lot of amazing things. I saw a lot of incredible things. And I just don't want it to become a rant. I just want to get off the phone, say that I love you all tremendously. Tremendously. I love the fact that people paying attention. I love the fact that it fucking yokes you a little bit inside. I love the fact that you get angry because you like, this is wrong. You get angry because something is wrong, and you maybe even want to do something about it. And when everybody does something about it, then it becomes everybody except against one person. And that's what needs to happen right now. Putin is finished. He's finished. Somebody needs to finish him, because he's finished, and he's going to drag everybody down with him. So Russians, do your thing, because it's going to take you 30 years for Russian to not be associated with evil. There's not going to be Blackpool for you this year, guys. Get out on the street, get fucking arrested, spend 15 days in jail, but get the fuck out and do something about your fucking leader, because he's not leading you to prosperity. He's leading you to death. And I have videos of your soldiers. They're 19, 20, 21-year-old kids who are terrified because they were lied to, that they were not going to war. They were going to some exercise. And next thing you know, they get thrown across the border because Putin didn't miscalculate it. And he's now throwing all of the troops. And they're getting thrown across the border, and they're literally they're dying. They're dying, or they're getting captured. They're terrified. You could see it in their eyes. They're probably like, yo, I don't even want to be in the army anymore. And for what? It doesn't make any sense. I'm going to go pass out. And I'm going to go home. And I'm going to continue posting this shit, because it's happening. And before I get completely unraveled, I just want to once again say an incredible thank you to Michael and Yulia Malitovsky, to Peter and Victoria for getting me and putting me up and everything else. And I just want to say a huge thank you to all my friends, dancers, who have actually listened and are doing amazing things, picking up people that are leaving and crossing the border, and and lastly, Polish people. You in my book, I'm in your debt. I'm in your debt, and what I've seen was an example of humanity and in need, and of being a friend, of being a neighbor, and of being a person that I want to live with in a community. So thank you so much for everything you're doing. You're gonna have a lot more people coming, I think, in the next couple of days, because the stuff is a lot scarier and people are a lot more frightened, and it's literally in their doorsteps, and anyway, I love you. Hey, I'm ready to go. I'm at the airport. I'm boarding this plane. If you can see it right here, it's a little proof. I also found a patch of gray hairs that just came up. That was definitely not there. That's a little bit of a joke, but not a joke. I'm gonna do my best. I don't know if I can. I don't have a good internet here, but I'm gonna try to put up some images latest from yesterday, a couple of days. This last night was insane. Ukraine is now under a very much consistent, steady flow of rockets and just bullets and rockets and rockets and rockets. It's shelling. It's nonstop. They're leveling the cities out. I'm not worried about infrastructure and any of that. I don't care. Not the infrastructure. I'm not worried about buildings. But now it's all civilians. And the thing that worries me the most is this. The more we all saw this horrific-looking 40-mile convoy of weapons that are coming and joining the occupation efforts. And the problem is that there's reports that locals, which are the ones that are pushing back. Yes, Ukraine is getting a lot of technology. Yes, Ukraine knows how to use it. Yes, apparently Ukraine is very trained at it. I gotta go boarding. But the locals that are using Molotov cocktails and are pushing the enemy and keeping them where it is, they can't recognize some of the machinery because they've never seen it before. So that's another issue that's starting to arise. And they need help. They need help, because what happens is that the more Putin throws weapons at Ukraine, the more Ukrainians pack themselves with themselves. They pack the borders and they start defending it personally in the way that, they just look around. If there's nothing else, then, I'll pick up a rock and start throwing it. And that's just going to cause a bloodshed. Right now, it's already a bloodshed. A lot of locals are dying, but now they're getting, they kind of have nothing to lose, so they're getting out of the rubble, grabbing a Molotov cocktail and going at the piece of equipment they have never seen before, and they don't know what it does. And they're dying. That's general consensus of this whole thing. Please continue yelling. The whole world's already against it. I can't believe some of my Russian friends that have lost their mind and they're denying the situation. I spoke to my manager just now before going to the airport. Her name is Tatiana. I've been with her every single day for the last 6 months, and I spoke to her almost every single day for about a year before that. So we're having a very close, extensive relationship. She and her family, husband, 2 kids, they moved a little further south from the place in Kiev where they lived. They did it 2 days ago, just on the whim, because they were all right. They were just outside. They weren't in a sort of area. But now that they moved, she spoke to her neighbor. The neighbor filmed a rocket getting shut down and dropping almost on their house. It literally somewhere right there. I think like maybe in their property. So if I get that video, I'll send it to you. But that's somebody that I know this well. It's absurd, and I don't even want to address the fact that Russians are denying it. I want to address the fact that it is that place
that is lying to you where you live. It's rotten, right? And that's what I've experienced, and that's what I now realize USSR was and what Russia has already become. He didn't just lie to us and the entire world. He lied to his people for a very long time. And now they are confused, and they're starting to be not sure. And this is what's happening now, is that they're starting to be not sure. And once you start to question, that's all that we needed to have happen. They're also a resilient bunch. He doesn't represent all the Russians. I just want that to be very clear. I don't want there to be hate. I don't want there to be discussed with them as a nation. There are our brothers and sisters. My mom's brother with his family lives in Russia. My grandpa lives in Russia, on the Russian territory. They moved when they had no job, no work, no opportunity to another, nearby village, basically, where they're just also scraping by. So it's not like, it was amazing. But the point to show is that it's just a neighborhood. To us, it wasn't moving a country. It was just moving to a different neighborhood. So I'm not sure how I feel about it. I'm also angry. I'm also fucking angry. I'm pissed. But it doesn't represent everybody. I came from that place. USSR didn't represent me, and I think he doesn't represent the good ones. We just gotta help them and open their eyes. So keep talking, keep using your voice, and so will I. Get in a plane, talk to you from LA.
What did I tell you?